Looking to build wealth beyond the stock market? Gain access to alternative investment opportunities once reserved for the ultra-wealthy with Yield Street. Build a diversified portfolio with investments such as real estate, art, commercial finance, and other alternatives typically with low stock market correlation and targeting annual yields of up to 15%. Yield Street investment minimums start at $1,000. Head to yieldstreet.com to join over 275,000 members and create your account today.
Ever wonder just how far an extra mile really goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. They offer a variety of powerful and efficient vans that can run on your choice of either gas or diesel, like the durable Mercedes-Benz Sprinter or that versatile Mercedes-Benz Metris, each tailored to match your work or play lifestyle. So take a test drive. Take that first step into an authorized Mercedes-Benz van dealership for a test drive. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Drugs. Almost everyone uses them, and everyone has an opinion about them. I'm Ethan Nadelman, host of the new podcast, Psychoactive. I'll be talking with scientists and politicians, celebrities and activists about all things drugs.
You know, I think ecstasy saved my marriage.
Why do we have receptors in our brain that fit molecules made by poppy plants?
Psychoactive is out now. Listen to Psychoactive on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is Jason McIntyre. Join me every weekday morning on my podcast, Straight Fire with Jason McIntyre. This isn't your typical sports pod pushing the same tired narratives down your throat every day. Straight Fire gives you honest opinions on all the biggest sports headlines, accurate stats to help you win big at the sportsbook, and all the best guests. Do yourself a favor and listen to Straight Fire with Jason McIntyre on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Final hour on this Friday. Dan and the Danettes, Dan Patrick Show. No Slovenia. All right, it's France against the United States for the gold medal tonight. Vince Carter will join us coming up. I was talking to McLovin. I said, is there a list, of course there's a list, of greatest dunks in history? And the fact that this was in the Olympics when Vince Carter jumped over a 7'2" player named Frederick Weiss, who was drafted by the Knicks, by the way. And I was wondering if that would be included in greatest dunks, in-game dunks of all time. Michael Jordan's baseline dunk against Patrick Ewing, that has to be in there. That was in the playoffs. Scottie Pippen, very, very mean, disrespectful dunk on Patrick Ewing. Shaq's dunk on Chris Dudley. DeAndre Jordan's dunk over Brandon Knight. Blake Griffin over Pau Gasol. And this has Vince Carter, Team USA, the 2000 Olympics. He had just won the dunk contest, and then a few months later, he was jumping over Frederick von Weiss. And is that the greatest in-game dunk ever? Shaq had a few. Kobe had a few. Yeah, McLovin.
Yeah, it's funny because most of the lists stick to the NBA. This is the one that had international in it, and that's how could you be better than jumping over Frederick Weiss as a single dunk?
Yeah, Paul.
Going back to Dr. J against the Lakers and Michael Cooper, that dunk was always played growing up on the NBA Finals coverage.
Yeah,
like da-da-da-da-da-da, and so you saw it a lot. It has a bit of immortality.
Yeah, and it was just one of those where Michael Cooper was at the wrong place. He was at the right place, but at the wrong time, because he went up, and then you could kind of tell where you go up, and then you realize the guy that you're going up against is still going up, and that's when you go, let me just duck for cover and get out of the way. But Vince Carter will join us coming up. Phone calls, always welcome, 877-3DP-SHOW. Email address, dp@danpatrick.com. Twitter handle at DP-SHOW. This program brought to you by the great folks at Peacock, an original series, Heart to Heart, where your host, Kevin Hart, sits down with today's biggest celebrities for unfiltered conversations. New episodes premiering every week. Go to peacocktv.com. Sign up now. I just saw where our boy Jimmer Fredette has been added to the Denver Nuggets Summer League roster. Okay. How old is Jimmer Fredette now?
Old enough to shoot from three.
Well, he'll always be old enough to shoot from three. I can't figure this out. For a guy who can shoot that well from that deep, and there is no place for him in the NBA. And he was with the Golden State Warriors, where he played a couple of games. That was his last summer league appearance. He was with Golden State. He was drafted by the Bucks, and then he was sent to Sacramento on draft night, 10th pick overall in 2011. So he's, 32 years of age, Paulie?
Yeah, and he's played for 5 different NBA teams. His longest stint was with Sacramento. He was on the team for 171 games. He started 7 games.
Yeah. I don't know. If it just, there's certain guys that fit in and certain guys who don't. But you would have thought, if I said, hey, given today's NBA where you're just shooting bombs, Jimmer Fredette, it seems like would have a place on a roster. Make sure you pick up a bag of the gourmet biscuits. They're called Penny's Bang Biscuits, made for our house dog, Penny. We have the healthy, all-natural ingredients. They're made from scratch. And the great thing about it is not only the taste for your dog, 20% of all Bang Biscuit sales will be given back to hand-picked partners in the pet industry. I got my dog from a rescue. And the same with the big German. He got Penny from a rescue site as well. Available at danpatrick.com. Poll question, McLovin.
Third best quarterback of all time. It's close, but right now, John Elway is leading the poll over Dan Marino second.
Okay. All right. Phone calls, always welcome. We'll get to those coming up. And Steelers beat the Cowboys last night. I think the big story is still Dak Prescott with the injury. Is it a muscle in his shoulder or is it his lat? They're trying to figure this out. They said it's day to day. This is going to be just rest for Dak Prescott. It doesn't feel like this is surgery on the horizon here. But Troy Aikman did say last night, he thinks there's more to this injury than they're letting on. But we're 4 weeks away. 4 weeks from ready to start a football season. And you got to take all your precautions here. We would have thought that it would have been with his ankle you take the precautions, but that's not the case. Also, Micah Parsons, I thought, looked really good last night. He's a very athletic linebacker for the Cowboys. They need all the help they can get with that defense, but he's all over the place last night. Najee Harris, like what I saw with him as well, the running back that the Steelers took in the first round. I'd feel a lot better about the Steelers if I knew how good that offensive line was going to be. That's the great question mark here. Because if the line's not good, it doesn't matter. Ben's not going to be good. Your running games was terrible last year, and now you're really, really going to be relying on that defense to, you got to be a defensive first team in the NFL, and that's really tough. Dennis in New York. Hey, Dennis, what's on your mind today?
Hey, Danny, how are you?
Good, Dennis.
I want to start and give a shout-out to the local affiliate, Binghamton's very own 1430 The Team.
All right.
But the reason I was calling was a while back, a few years ago, you guys had on Olympic wrestler Kyle Dake, and you had him in studio. It was a great time. He got to wrestle with the boys. But I saw he won bronze today, and I just want to thank you for having an athlete like that on. He's not really in the spotlight much. And during the time, like Johnny Manziel was so hyped, but the guy was a 4-time NCAA champion, and if it was football or basketball, we'd be probably talking to him as like the greatest college athlete of all time. But thank you, Danny. Have an incredible weekend.
You're welcome, Dennis. Yeah, Kyle Dake, and then Paulie put on his singlet, and Paulie wrestled Kyle Dake in the old man cave.
Lasted 12 seconds.
Yeah, I think the over-under was 10.
No, it was 15.
Oh.
But he told us he had pinned two guys in college in fewer than 10 seconds, so I didn't feel too bad.
Okay.
I retired afterwards.
You did?
I put my shoes on the mat like Rulon Gardner. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did not know that. By the way, we have an Against the Grain training camp MVP update.
ATG TC MVP ranking?
Okay. Are you ready?
I am ready to go. I've been combing over training camp stats.
Wait, you gotta wait.
Just so fired
we gave you intro music. All right, here you go. Go ahead.
Okay, I've been combing through the stats, which, as you know, are beyond meaningless. But you can decide on yourself how this quarterback battle is going. In San Francisco, through 7 days of 49ers camp, according to beat writer Grant Cohn, Jimmy Garoppolo has 3 TD passes and 3 interceptions, where Trey Lance has 7 TD passes, 2 TD runs, 1 interception, and is completing 74% of his passes.
MVP?
I think Trey Lance is your strong front runner for training camp MVP.
I love it. I love it.
I'm assuming he did this all against the second team, but we don't take that into account against our MVP.
No. You don't let facts like that get in the way here.
More impressive stats. Mac Jones, 15 for 19 yesterday with 2 passes dropped, according to Patriots beat reporter Phil Perry. Cam Newton, only 5 for 11 with 2 passes dropped.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So I'm going to have Mac Jones second on my training camp MVP rankings. And third, you might have forgotten about him, but you know I didn't. Andy Dalton. Can I read a quote from USA Today?
Oh, please.
Andy Dalton continued his consistent string of solid practices on Thursday. That is Andy Dalton hype right there.
Solid,
that's your top 3.
Solid and improving. Thank you, McLevin. Against the grain. A couple more phone calls in here. Doug in North Carolina. Hi, Doug. What's on your mind?
Well, Dan, let me start with a compliment, because at the end of this, I'm going to say something kind of mean. But since the pandemic, since all my coworkers have gone home, I've been working alone in the office. And you guys are the only things that have kept my sanity. And when you were on YouTube, I used to pause the show, and I would stretch a 3-hour show into an 8-hour workday anytime there was an interruption. So you guys have meant the world to me. But having said that, you were talking about your coffee addiction, which is really funny, because I swear the other day I was watching on Peacock, and I swear I saw you take a drink of tea, hot tea, and I was like, well, that's really effeminate. I've never seen an American man drink tea before. It must be for his velvety voice. Maybe that's something broadcasters do to protect their voice. But I'm of the opinion that real men don't drink tea or wine. And I wanted to give you a chance to comment on that and defend yourself. Were you drinking tea the other day? Do you drink tea?
Yes, I do. I have tea right now, Doug, right here. And I had some wine last night.
You're ruining it for me, Dan.
I know. Just close your eyes and listen to the voice. That's all that matters, Douglas. Yes, indeed. No, I like dandelion tea. Somebody told me, why don't you try some dandelion tea? That's good. That's all. Just sipping it. Got my DP show coffee mug here. I have my venti chai teas prior to. I'm usually polish them off by 7:30 as I come in. Then I have some tea. Keep me hydrated. Yes, McLeod.
You can't stick your pinky out when you're drinking tea.
I don't. I hold the side of the mug. So it's like I'm drinking, I don't know, whiskey in my coffee or something like that. Yes, Paul.
And if red wine with Italian food is wrong, I don't want to be right. Wine's good. Yeah, red wine, those days are over, that being soft.
Yeah. Like I don't do a Pinot Grigio. I don't do a Chardonnay. Mm-hmm. No, I do
a rosé.
No, I don't do rosé.
Are you sure?
Rosé is crazy now. Like it's wild. Where it's like, hey, my daughter's like, hey, can you get some rosé? I'm like, no, you're gonna drink a cab and like it. Rosé, yes, McClellan.
My wife, rosé every time. Sparkling rosé, even.
Yeah. No. I make no apologies. Like we're men here. Like I'm a Renaissance man. There's a feminine side to me that I embrace. Yes, McLovin.
Yeah, I wanted to back you on the tea, but then you had to say it was dandelion tea, like maybe a chai, and I'm down with you. But
yeah, it's soothing to the voice. Like this is an investment. It's like a bank account. I want to make sure that I treat it well. I keep an eye on it all the time. Yes, Paul.
Is there a tough sounding tea name like Earl Grey? That kind of sounds like a former Cardinal linebacker.
Yeah,
Earl Grey tea.
Yeah,
doesn't sound too feminine.
Oh, yes, McLovin.
Herbal, that guy's right. Herbal tea is not manly. Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But the other stuff I do can be manly. They're just there's a different side to me that you don't know. So when I'm having bourbon last night, nobody's questioning my manhood.
Don't overcompensate now.
Okay, my bad.
Butch it up.
If you're going to be strong on your convictions here, right, just stand on them. Don't all of a sudden be like, oh, who had a cowboy ribeye last night? Was I soft then too? Don't do it.
You're right. I'm past being overly sensitive. But I did have a nice Hoya de Monterey cigar last night. I had some Willet bourbon.
There you go.
And I was sitting at the bar. I was watching Summer League basketball Wait, does that hurt or help my street cred that I'm watching Summer League basketball while drinking bourbon and having a great cigar? Yes, McLovin.
Well, the worst is when you try and cover up your girly drink with a manly name. And you know I'm talking about Paulie in the Dark and Stormy.
Oh, that one's great. Because
rum and ginger beer and a lime? Who wouldn't want that? Ooga.
It's a Dark and Stormy.
Put on a nice pair of slacks and no socks and some boat shoes.
Yes, Eden.
That's if you ever go to Bermuda, one of the big drinks there is a Dark and Stormy. However, the other, I think more popular one, very difficult to order. Hi, bartender, yeah, I'll have 2 rum swizzles, please.
Oh.
A swizzle. It is damn good. But yeah, you get yourself a fish sandwich and a rum swizzle.
Oh, my God.
You go down the wrong alley there and ask for a rum swizzle, you get something else.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
And it costs a lot more.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh. Could I have a rum swizzle, please?
Yes.
That's where you put it on a piece of paper and then you just slide it over the bartender so nobody hears you say that.
Bartender, rum swizzles all around. All right.
Or when the bartender then yells it out. Rum swizzle, come shoot.
Yeah,
shoot,
for that guy right there.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. Let me see. What do we have here? Andy in Indiana. Let me know when we need to go to the break and get to Vince Carter here. Andy in Indiana. Hi, Andy.
Hi there. Long-time listener, first-time caller. 62240. And I know you guys are doing the third best quarterback of all time conversation. First of all, let me say that Vince Carter dunk is the best dunk of all time, just no question. The face on Kevin Garnett, I think, is my favorite part.
You're right. Yeah.
But the reason I was calling is to lend a little credence to Joe Montana as either the first or best quarterback of all time. This anecdote, your Danettes may be able to fill in the details here, but it was in a conference championship game, I think, fourth quarter, 2-minute drill to win the game. They get into the huddle, and everybody's really serious, and Joe Montana looks at everybody and then looks up, and he goes, "Hey, guys, look over there. Is that
John Candy?
Is that John Candy?"
Yeah. And that's from the Super Bowl in Miami. Jerry Rice confirmed that. And I think that they had an offensive lineman. It might have been the Niners' offensive tackle, I'm thinking. And Montana was trying to get him to calm down. And I think he said it because of that. Who was the left tackle? Did his last name begin with an F? Who was that tackle there, McLovin?
I think you're right. I'm looking up the story now.
It's not Freilich. It's, God, I'm trying to think who that was.
And Russ France was the tight end or no? He wasn't there anymore.
I don't think Russ was there. I don't think he won a Super Bowl. But
Keith Farnhorst.
There you go. I think Montana was trying to calm him down. And that's where he said, "Hey, look over there. It's John Candy. It's Super Bowl." And it started the 2-minute drive that won them the Super Bowl. All right, we'll take a break. The great Vince Carter will join us. Was he rooting for Slovenia and Luka to play Team USA for the gold medal? And we'll talk about that great dunk in the Olympics that took place almost 21 years ago when he dunked over Frederick Weiss. We got to make that an NFT. Coming up, that'll be next. It's about 18 after the hour here at Dan Patrick Show. Thanks for listening to the Dan Patrick Show podcast. Be sure to catch us live every weekday morning, 9 until noon Eastern, 6 to 9 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. And you can find us on the iHeartRadio app at FSR or stream us live on the Peacock app.
It's crazy how much we have to pay for outdated, impersonal healthcare, and even crazier that we all just accept it. It's time to face facts. Healthcare is backwards. Luckily, there's Forward, a new approach to primary care that's surprisingly personal and refreshingly straightforward. Forward never makes you feel like just another patient. Backed by top-rated doctors and the latest tech, Forward gives you access to personalized care whenever you need it. Using in-depth genetic analysis and real-time blood work, Forward's top-rated doctors provide you with in-depth insights to better understand your genetics, mental, and physical health. They then create custom, easy-to-understand plans to help guide you to achieving long-term health. With Forward, you get unlimited in-person visits with your doctor and access to care anytime via the Forward app, all for one flat monthly fee. It's time to stop accepting backwards healthcare and start moving your health forward. Visit GoForward.com today to learn more. That's GoForward.com.
This episode is brought to you by HP. Whenever you do your best thinking, the HP Spectre X360 is ready when inspiration strikes. With power save for battery life and focus mode to multitask, you can do your best thinking whenever and wherever it happens. You can't always schedule when and where you might have a brilliant thought, whether it's in the morning or before bed, when you're at your computer or away from it. Thinking can happen anywhere and anytime. The HP Spectre X360 2-in-1 convertible PC with Windows 10 saves battery life for whenever an idea hits you. HP Spectre X360, a more thoughtful laptop.
Get ready for a gloves-off spin on the Classic Advice Show with the Dear Chelsea podcast. Join comedian Chelsea Handler and her assistant/confidant/co-host Brandon Marlowe on the podcast that offers unvarnished, hilarious, and empowering advice to people from all walks of life. Drawing from her own experiences, Chelsea brings a fresh perspective to help listeners become the person they wish they could be.
Instinctively, I would always tell everybody to just reach for their dreams and go for it and take a huge risk in life.
It's a weekly dose of in-your-face, unfiltered Chelsea.
Oh, I've never wanted to be a mom, but I could kill it as a divorcee dad.
With insights and balance from Brandon along the way.
And Brandon is like my little sidecar, aren't you?
I am. I'm just here for moral support and a different perspective at times.
Yeah, he's more reasonable than I am, so you might want to listen to what he says.
Listen to Dear Chelsea on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's a Meat Friday. Skewers on there. Pick up a Traeger grill. Go to TraegerGrills.com/DP show to learn more about the great grill. We have 4 of them here, and I think we have 4 of them in use right now. By the way, Joey Votto was with us 2 days ago. He's a wonderful guest. He homered last night. Did he give a shout out? He didn't homer on the day that he said he was going to, but then he homered last night. Did anybody hear anything from Joey Votto giving the show a shout out a day later after he hit a home run? Thought that's the least he could do since he disappointed us the night before. Let's see. Point spread, Team USA versus France. Anybody want to guess what the point spread is? Basketball, Olympic gold medal tonight. Yes, Todd?
I'm going to say 6.5.
6.5 for the United States. McLovin?
9 for the U.S.
9 U.S. Seton?
8.
All right. Paulie?
14.5.
Ooh.
That's what my guy gave me.
Your guy.
Did I get ripped off?
Your guy.
14.5.
I'll go 9.5. McLovin, do you have the point spread?
As of right now, I'm seeing U.S. is favored by 11.5.
Ooh, okay. 11.5 for the gold medal. Let's make way for the great Vince Carter, who is the only player to have played in 4 different decades in the NBA. Vince joins us now on loan from NBC Sports, covering the Olympic basketball games and the matchup that we have, France against the United States. Let me start with Luka and Slovenia. Would that have been a more interesting matchup for Team USA to watch than France?
I don't think so. I think this is going to be an interesting matchup for one reason and one reason only. Greg Popovich, coach team, has not beaten this team. They lost to him before, prior to the Olympics, and then they lost to him the first match here. So I think it's a bad taste in their mouth. They ever since that loss and the days in between that loss and their next game versus Iran, all they heard about is Popovich the right coach? Is this the right team? Do they have the right nucleus of players? When is KD going to show up? Well, we saw KD show up. We saw their defense take off, and they're playing great basketball. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Luka and his squad, and Papelovic, the guy who got a shot block at the end, I think that would have been a very interesting matchup. And obviously, what Luka has done all tournament. But I think for the U.S., they wanted a piece of France again to kind of get that taste out of their mouth.
What's the difference in how a game is called in the Olympics as opposed to the NBA?
rules, first and foremost, I think you look at a game, and for me, as a former player in the NBA, and of course have some FIBA experience, the physicality in the game, you can sit here and watch and like, man, it's a foul, but not in FIBA. FIBA, a lot of things you're able to get away with, and probably the first two games you sit and watch and you're calling the game, and the ability, or you're allowed to knock the ball off the rim, that takes them getting used to. So for NBA players, you can see the hesitation. They start to look at the ref like, wait. And now, 4 or 5 games in, Jason Tatum knocked the ball off the rim. JaVale McGee knocked the ball off the rim. Once you get accustomed to it, you kind of adapt. And this is what these players are able to do. They adapt. We have to remember this team, like all of the other teams, they only have 3 weeks, maybe a month to prepare and come together as a squad to take on teams like in Australia, who's been together forever, like Spain, who's been together forever, and expect to win. So, the task that these guys are dealt with, they've done a pretty darn good job. And you look at this team here, there's 3 guys that came from the finals. JaVale McGee came in late. Keldon Johnson came in late. Zach LaVine had to wait because of the COVID protocol. So they didn't have their entire team when they stepped foot into Japan, because everybody was all over the world, and finally get them back. They get their full team back 1:30 a.m. the night before the game against France.
Yeah. Why is Ben Simmons not playing in the Olympics?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. I think for Ben Simmons, this is a great opportunity. I kind of look at it 2 ways. I think it's a great opportunity for him to get in the lab and just be in the gym by himself and work on his game, get away from all of the noise, and continue to be him, because he's a super duper athlete. He brings a lot to the table. We always look at, we always nitpick and we pick one thing about a player. Oh, he can't shoot the ball. But, look at all the intangibles and the other things that he can't do. Now, on the other side of that, at the time, well, let me say this, Dan, the timing is kind of bad, because if he had some time, if this was a normal season, he would have had a couple of weeks to kind of work on his game a little bit, and then you bring it to the Olympics and see, and this is kind of your trial run before the actual NBA season. You always can go back to the player that you are, but when you want to work on something, it's a great opportunity to have real live basketball that counts to work on your actual game. But
see, I just thought he would gain
to kind of answer that question.
Maybe confidence, though, Vince, that he's playing with his home country. It can be his team. Like, this is what he's missing. I think he's lost his confidence and his identity. This maybe would have helped that. And you get to showcase your talents. If you want out of Philadelphia, that's a good way to showcase your talents, to say, hey, this is what I can do for you.
I agree with you 100%, and it's just kind of the mentality of some people. Some people feel like, hey, I'm not going to go out here and give you what you think I should do. And some people feel like they want to, stick to himself. Look at like a Giannis. There was times where Giannis, it was said Giannis that didn't want to work out with anyone. He just wanted to work on his game, and I will show you who I am and what I have come the season time. And maybe Ben is that way. I mean, this is kind of the time, where there's a lot of fire at Ben right now. And this is a chance to kind of get away from it, kind of refocus, and go back at it. Because think about this. At the same time, yes, I want to show you, but he still has to answer those questions. Those questions still are going to come out now internationally. Going to have the questions from the international folks who don't get the opportunity to ask that question all the time about, how things played out. So sometimes it's kind of good, Dan, to step away from the game, kind of refocus, recharge, and come back. So I hope he's really going at it, because we really haven't heard much from him or about him or what he's doing in his game. So that could be a good thing.
He's Vince Carter, NBC Olympics basketball analyst and a gold medalist, a former slam dunk contest winner, and spent 22 years in the NBA. When you had the dunk over Frederick Weiss, I didn't know who owns that. If you wanted to sell that NFT, Vince, can you have you thought about that?
So. I think I have not. I've been asked, but I think that is the rights of the Olympic committee, or is it NBC?
I'm trying to get you paid, Vince. I'm trying to get you paid.
I appreciate you. That's why you're legend and you're the best, man. You're thinking about others. But I don't think I lose that battle. I mean, that will probably be a question I would ask down the line as I learn more about the NFT, because it's becoming obviously a hot commodity.
Could you reenact that with Frederick Weiss 21 years later?
Maybe on a video game, or I try to draw a stick figure, but actually try to pull that off. No way. It's
wonder
not even in my mind frame.
I wonder, Vincent, and you'll obviously know this, but it felt like people then expected you after that to do superhuman things. Like everything had to be a highlight. Did you feel that after you dunked on Frederick?
I think, let me say this. I understood it. I knew. I mean, and here's how I understood it. Before games, when I would work out, preparing for a game, or getting ready for a game, warming up, to always ask for a dunk. Vincent, dunk it. I'm getting ready for a game, where I need to actually shoot the ball sometimes. So I understood it, and I wanted to show that I was more than just that, and I had more to my game. I just had to show my patience, and eventually, the rest of my game would shine through. After a while, I was like, oh, man, I didn't know you were a good passer. Okay. I didn't know you could shoot the ball like that. It's been there, but I know what they wanted to see. And, if you think about it, prior to the Olympics and that dunk, the dunk contest just happened in February. And then the Olympics rolls around right after that. So that all happened in succession. Was kind of, just added fuel to the fire, and, wanted to see more. And just, whenever I stepped on the court, that's what they wanted to see. It was like, yeah, he hit a game-winning three-pointer. Oh, that's cool. But who did he dunk on? I understood what what it was.
Yeah, we were waiting for a highlight. It was like, wait, Vince is shooting threes? Come on. That's not what we paid to see.
Yeah, he's not driving to the paint now. Why is he not aggressive?
Did you ever get dunked on where it was like, oh, my God, now I know what that feels like?
Man, this is a question I don't like to answer. There is a guy in the NBA. You probably can figure it out. He played for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's currently in Cleveland.
Okay. Is that Kevin Love?
Yes, it is. It was Kevin Love.
Kevin Love posterized you?
Everybody, exactly. That's the reaction everybody says. For the few people that I've told, it's only me and you here, so I guess everybody won't know about it. But what happened is he got a bounce pass on the facing the rim, the right side of the block. I'm probably like at the elbow on the opposite side, so let's say it's the left side. And I tried to run and get there, and he drop steps, two hands, and I got my hands in front of him. He just dunked on me, and he looked at me. And because we had some history, he looked at me, and you talk about a long ride after the game from the bus to the airport. I'm like, Kevin Love, because when Kevin Love was in high school, I gave him his Gatorade Player of the Year award. And the one thing, one conversation he had to me, he's like, I'm gonna be in the NBA. I'm gonna be in the NBA soon. I said, all right, I'll see you there. He said, all right. So that's what I thought about when that happened, because I'm like, I gave this kid his Gatorade High School Player of the Year award. He and Maya Moore that year.
Yeah.
A few years later, I get dunked on by him, and I'm glad he didn't throw it in my face, but it felt like he did.
I'm looking at the video. I'm looking at the video now, Vince.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Just pull. Oh, okay. All right. Wow. I mean, that's one-handed. Wow. You know what? He's probably going to capitalize and make that an NFT and make a whole lot of money, Vince.
He should, because I guarantee a lot of people don't know about that play, or don't even did he? Oh, I don't remember seeing this. Yeah, good.
What would you pay to get that off the internet?
I gotta look at it again.
No, you don't.
Did I stumble? It was bad. That bad?
It's not that bad.
It's not good.
I think,
but it's not that good.
I can say it. It's a white guy. That's why it's bad, Vince.
Well, that and the fact that I remember it vividly. So yes, it was bad. As soon as you said it, I was like, oh gosh, yeah, Kevin Love.
Kevin Love. Yeah. You know, it couldn't have been like a high-flying guy, that dunks on everybody. It had to be Kevin Love.
Well, I'll say T-Mac actually dunked on me, but we're on the same team. And I was going for the rebound and, casually rebound, offensive rebound, and he jumps higher and he catches it and he dunks on me. But I actually got him back in the game as well. It's just weird saying that. It's like I got him back, but we were on the same team. So it's just like a friendly competition. But I remember that as well.
It's great.
So I don't count that.
Great to talk to you, Vince. Hope you're doing well, and we appreciate your time as always.
I appreciate you, Dan. Thanks for having me.
That's Vince Carter. That was fun. And the NFT, I don't know what it's worth, but if you're Vince Carter, well, Vince may not have any say in it, but that dunk over Frederick Weiss, you could make a claim that is the most famous dunk of all time. Do you know what it was called? What the French media called that dunk? Le dunk de la mort, which translates into dunk of death.
Wow.
Not very subtle with the French media for poor Frederick von Weiss. Yes, he.
But it's like, was it that bad? No, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Look, let's see what the newspaper said. Ooh.
Le dunk of death. Okay, I didn't die. Oh, it looked like it. Yeah, Paulie.
I always felt bad that Frederick Weiss didn't go on to like a really nice NBA career where this would be a footnote. I think he played in the French league for years, was a good player. Didn't the Knicks draft him?
Oh, yeah.
If he would have had like a good pro career, a solid pro career, this would be a footnote. But instead, it's his entire...
That's what he's known for.
That's it.
Yeah, we don't know him for anything else. It's like Jean Van de Velde, where he threw away the British Open. If he had won it 2 years later, then we'd be like, oh, yeah, he lost. But then he came back and won. But he's known as the guy who was rolling up his pants. And I think they went back and said he could have taken a wedge and used a wedge on the entire hole and even had a bogey and ended up winning the British Open. Like there have been some of the times, and some guys don't look at the leaderboard. Like they'll say famously, who was it? Jesper Parnevik could have won the British Open. But I don't think he was looking at the leaderboard and then he was trying to go for a birdie, didn't need to go, something like that. Yeah, McLovin.
I heard a podcast on NPR the other day about sort of panic attacks and how when you start thinking about the moment is when you struggle. That feels true for golf. If you think about what you're doing, you could be in trouble.
Yeah, with any athlete, they'll tell you their job is to react. They prepare for the moment where they don't think about the moment because they prepared for it. It's when you're in the moment you go, what am I supposed to do here? And then you get paralyzed. Yeah, Paul.
I always thought the Atlanta Falcons did that. When they're up 28-3, I think they saw winning in their sights, and they just kind of froze up. And they made a bunch of different choices and mistakes on offense and defense. Not just got beat, but and they saw winning, and they went, we're about to win, and they puckered up.
Yeah, they played not to lose instead of playing to win. And then when they played to win, that's when they should have played not to lose. When they started passing the ball, when all they had to do was stay in field goal range, you kick the field goal, you're going to win. And they instead of playing not to lose, they played to win. And, they were throwing the ball. And you take a sack and, it comes down to 3 or 4 plays. Change that Super Bowl. Same with the Niners. Gets Kansas City. Couple plays. That was it. All right. Last call for phone calls. What we learn, what's in store tomorrow. If you're watching on Peacock, you can live vicariously through us with the barbecue chicken and pineapple skewers, Asian-style grilled beef skewers, spicy shrimp skewers. Who has it better than us? Nobody. Back after this. Thanks for listening to the Dan Patrick Show podcast. Be sure to catch us live every weekday morning, 9 until noon Eastern, 6 to 9 Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. And you can find us on the iHeartRadio app at FSR or stream us live on the Peacock app.
Hey, this is Jason McIntyre. Join me every weekday morning on my podcast, Straight Fire with Jason McIntyre. This isn't your typical sports pod pushing the same tired narratives down your throat every day. Straight Fire gives you honest opinions on all the biggest sports headlines, accurate stats to help you win big at the sportsbook, and all the best guests. Do yourself a favor and listen to Straight Fire with Jason McIntyre on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The economy is confusing, and it can be hard to know what to do with your money when things feel so volatile. So crack open your notebooks, because Planet Money Summer School is here to help you master the basics of investing. I'm your host, Cardiff Garcia, and we've brought in world-class professors to answer questions like, is it better to buy a lot of one stock or a little bit of a lot of stocks? What are bonds? And is it ever too late to start investing? Listen to Planet Money from NPR on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Close up shop on this Friday in honor, the memory of J.R. Richard, former great pitcher, pitched for the Astros, 6'8", fireballer. Rest in peace. J.R. Richard was Randy Johnson before Randy Johnson because he was 6'8". Now, Randy's 6'10", but when J.R. was on the mound and he was a hard thrower, and it just felt like he was 50 feet away, not 60 feet. But there was an intimidation factor with J.R., but he was 71 years of age. He had a stroke, and I don't know how long ago it was that he had the stroke. It's been quite some time, but just passed away yesterday at the age of 71 or a couple of days ago. All right, last call for phone calls this day in sports history. And final results of the poll question, McLevin.
Third best quarterback of all time, John Elway, wire to wire. Dan Marino, third best quarterback. Dan Marino, fourth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then Peyton, fifth.
All right. This day in sports history, Paulie.
1890, Cy Young achieved his first major league victory. He would accumulate 511 in his career, again, without ever winning the Cy Young Award. 1952, Satchel Paige at age 46 became the oldest pitcher to complete a Major League Baseball game. And then, this is good, 1969, the first fair ball to be completely hit out of Dodger Stadium. Willie Stargell of the Pittsburgh Pirates hit the ball estimated 506 feet, 1969.
You know, you mentioned Satchel Paige. He was 46 years of age when he shut out the Tigers. That record was broken in 2010. This pitcher was 47 years of age. So the oldest pitcher to win a game with a complete game shutout was 2010, and the pitcher was 47. Anybody? McLevin?
We have a sort of a group guest over here. Jamie Moyer?
Jamie Moyer.
Yes.
Jamie Moyer.
Was he a Philly?
Might have been at that time.
He played on like 8 teams.
He had quite a few of them. But I remember Jason Giambi described him as somebody who was throwing salad, and I'd never heard that before. And I said, what's it mean? He said, grab a head of lettuce and throw it, and that's what throwing salad is. It doesn't look like you're throwing very hard. Yes, Pauline.
Jamie Moyer had more complete games as a pitcher at age 47 than any current Major League Baseball pitcher has this year. He was 40.
Stat of the day, stat of the day, stat of the day, stat of the day. Here comes that what? Stat of the day.
By the way, on this date, sports history, the first NFL game played in Europe. Exhibition game, preseason game, played at Wembley Stadium, 1983. You remember who played in that game, the first one outside the United States? Yes, Paul?
Jacksonville Jaguars.
No, they did not.
Oh, just a habit.
It was on Yahoo, right? At 9 a.m. in the morning.
It was the Vikings beating the Cardinals 28-10 back in 1983. I saw where 5 different cities in Germany have reached out to the NFL to host a game. If you don't have it in London and you have a game, they're exploring this now of some of these other markets in Europe to be able to host games. Yeah, McLeod.
Well, I remember a Sports Illustrated cover with the Cowboys and the Bears in London. Did they play a big game over there?
Yeah, but that was 86. That was
right.
Yeah.
So they started peaking over there in the 80s.
But this is a preseason game. I don't know if Cowboys against the Bears, that was a regular season game that they had over there. Maybe it was preseason. Let me see. Rick in Florida. Rick, thanks for holding. Let me squeeze you in. What do you have on your mind today?
Hey, good morning, DP. Front row, back row. You know, it's DP, even after that dunk, my Knicks still took Frederick Rice over Ron Artest. It's amazing. Ooh. But, you know, I want to go back to your conversation with Sal, Dan, and I totally agree on Baselli and your guy from Cincinnati, Ken Riley. How could you be top 5 all time in interceptions and not be in the Hall of Fame? And I'm shocked to hear that the voice of God wasn't in the Hall of Fame. But DP, I got to make my case for Zach Thomas, Richmond Webb, and from the Super Bowl Dolphins defensive end Bill Stanfield. Zach Thomas had the same exact stats as Brian Urlacher, but he never won a Super Bowl or went to a Super Bowl or what was Defensive Rookie of the Year or Defensive Player of the Year. But Zach Thomas should be in the Hall of Fame. Richmond Webb started from day one in 1990, 7 consecutive Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros and 2 second-team All-Pros. And Bill Stanfield until Jason Taylor on a 3-4 defense, which a defensive end does not, have sacked, was the all-time leader in sacks in Dolphin history until Jason Taylor.
All
Have
right.
a good weekend.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. Thank you for that Dolphin update. Ernie in Las Vegas. Ernie, what's on your mind?
Hi, I just want to say the dunk, the best in-game dunk was probably Andrej Kirilenko getting dunked on by Baron Davis in 2007.
Ooh, okay. AK-47 got dunked on. I'd have to have my guys pull that up, but I vaguely remember that. AK-47 was a very interesting player. He was all around. He'd be up there and block shots. Like, he did a lot of different things, but very athletic. Ken in Oregon joins us. Ken, what's on your mind today?
Hey, DP. Ken the trucker, trucking through the Columbia Gorge with Lily the Beagle today.
All righty. What do you have for me?
Hey, I want to close the door with a Lionel Messi limerick for you.
Wow. Okay. A Lionel, not Lionel Messi. It's a Lionel Messi limerick from Ken.
I don't do accents, so you'll have to accent this up.
All right.
Here we go. This is Lionel. So, my days here in Barca are done. But look at all the stuff I have won. So goodbye to Spain. I'd love to remain. But hey there, Paris Saint-Germain.
Thank you, Ken. Nice job. And I hope your Beagle's doing well. No limerick today, Todd, to close out the week.
Today. Did that follow the limerick rhyme scheme?
I don't know. Just... You set the standard there.
I mean, it's AABBA, obviously.
It might have been AABBB what he did, but I thought it was very creative.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Thank you, Todd. All right, anybody going with France and the 11.5 points tonight? Anybody want a piece of that? Paulie, are we paying off our bet next week with the Michael Phelps situation?
As soon as people send us stuff, I have multiple emails and over to them.
Why don't we just order one of Michael Phelps' swimsuits?
Wait till you see how much they cost. It's not like a 20 thing.
Yeah, but it feels like we're not getting it from Michael Phelps. Therefore, this bet will be one of those that I know how this works, Paul.
I'll never be ready to wear it. Let's put it that way.
What we learned brought to you by Mercedes-Benz fans. They go far beyond for their customization options. Cutting-edge tech, 5-star sales service, financial support crew. Go the extra mile, taking the all-important first step into an authorized dealership today. A lot of fun. Great week. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be back on Monday. Have a safe weekend, everybody. Talk to you then.
The economy is confusing, and it can be hard to know what to do with your money when things feel so volatile. So crack open your notebooks, because Planet Money Summer School is here to help you master the basics of investing. I'm your host, Cardiff Garcia, and we've brought in world-class professors to answer questions like, is it better to buy a lot of one stock or a little bit of a lot of stocks? What are bonds? And is it ever too late to start investing? Listen to Planet Money from NPR on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.